Kia ora e te whānau. Nau mai hoki mai. I just realised my glasses are really paru. Aroha mai. Nau mai hoki mai. Thank you for joining in. If you're joining in at any time, just make sure you chicken in the chat. And yeah, be good to see you all. Now, tonight, our kaupapa's around, I didn't even prepare my kaupapa banner. Our kaupapa's around, well, it's called, Browsing Hacks for Study. But it's actually useful stuff to learn about using Chrome and Microsoft Edge, and those two specifically. I wanted to share because of actually the most popular, Chrome because it's just the most popular, and Microsoft Edge because it comes pre-installed on all the Windows laptops. Kia ora were, thanks for chickening in. But these tips are useful for anything, and I guarantee there'll be something in here that you don't know about. So, so thanks for joining in. If there's something that you, if you know everything that I'm going to show you today, please let me know, because there's some things I actually learned today while researching and preparing for the session. So yeah, browsing hacks. Why did I choose this? I'm doing this kaupapa popo as well. Kia ora tu matawhero. Hope you enjoy your new Matariki hoodie. I just got back from Rotorua. I spent the start of the week there. Ended up driving back late last night instead of today. And I'm doing this session as well with my team. And tomorrow, so I was just killing two birds with one stone rather than having to try and race to do two different kaupapa. But it's actually really timely because there's some people in my tari who are studying at Te Wānanga o Aotearoa, who also work at Te Wānanga o Aotearoa, and are getting all tied up with their web browser and having to log out of their Wānanga account and log back into their Tauira account and all kinds of things like that. So I just wanted to show a whole bunch of tips that you can use for your browser. So I'm going to jump straight into it, but I'm also going to do a little pānui and share. Okay, so I've got Google Chrome installed, I've got Microsoft Edge installed, and I can't remember why I put that up, don't worry. Oh yeah, a couple of pānui. Firstly, hopefully, oh, it's not showing up. Okay, I'm going to hide my webcam. So just on the right hand side, when I click, you can see an image of a mouse. I've got this up now so you can actually see which mouse button I'm clicking and when. So right mouse button, you can also see on the mouse the ring popping up, or a middle mouse button. But also if I'm holding down a key, it's going to bring up the key that I'm holding down. So if I hold down a key and click, you'll see that click. So that's a little change that I've got today. Okay, I'm going to bring up my browser, and the one thing I'm going to pimp, little pānui here, is Te Manawa Haukura, which is the Wānanga's rangahau arm. So these are, Te Manawa Haukura is like a part of Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. It's public. It's available to everybody, and it's all about rangahau and kaupapa rangahau. So there's a whole bunch of communities here that you can dive into and look at. There's this beautiful Manuaru community here, and headed up by the amazing and very pretty Kane Milne. Don't know who that is, but sounds absolutely handsome. But the thing I wanted to show is 2025 workshops. Okay. Anyone's able to come and participate in these workshops. They're on Fridays from 11 to 12:30. So we've had a number of workshops already. We can go and view the video of that workshop if it's been done already. So some of these that have been done, or some of them that are coming up, you can register online for those workshops and get a link to actually participate in those Rangahau workshops. So there's some really, really cool kaupapa coming up whānau. And I hope you take the opportunity to try it, like this qualitative data analysis or the narrative case studies, some really awesome stuff. So that's Te Manua Haukura. I'm going to copy that into the chat. Just make it easy for you. Okay, so I've got my Chrome up at the moment, and you can see we've got tabs. Okay, nice and cool. Now, one thing I'm not going to do with this is I'm not going to dive into the nuts and bolts of Google Chrome. There's some real big hacks that you can do. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to worry about stuff that you have access to without having to know anything special. Okay, so these are things that are all available in the web browser. We're not going to use any extensions or change the behavior that way, or any plugins or anything like that. We're just going to look at the browser. And the first thing I wanted to do is just go over some shortcuts. So some of these shortcuts are really handy. So one shortcut, an easy shortcut, is a Control and T. Opens up a new tab in your browser. Okay. A Control and W closes your current tab. Okay. Control T, new tab. Control W, closed tab. Okay. Control Shift and T reopens the tab you just closed. Okay, so if you close a tab and you thought, oh, I wanted that, Control Shift T will reopen that tab. Okay. You can do the same thing by hovering over the top bar and going to reopen closed tab. Okay. And it will reopen that tab that you last closed. Okay. Okay. A Control and L. Oh, better make sure I'm clicked in here. Highlights that address bar. Okay. So this part of the browser is called your address bar. That's where you've got the whole URL or web address. Okay. And then when you do have a lot of tabs open, I'm going to open up a whole bunch. Do like this. Okay. A Control plus the Tab key on your keyboard will flick through your different tabs. So it'll scroll from the next one. Control Shift and T will go back. Okay. Oops. What was I pressing? Oh, T. I was pressing the wrong one. Control Shift Tab jumps back. Control Tab jumps forward. Okay, so just some of the shortcuts that you can use. Now, if you don't know, and there are a lot of people that don't know this, so I don't think it's a silly thing, but you can search directly from this address bar. So if you wanted to search something like TWOA, you can just press it. You can just click in there and search. Matariki 2025. Okay. And the reason why I'm showing that is because I have seen a lot of people click in here and go Google. And then actually click on Google and then search. Okay, so it seems silly, but there's a lot of people that don't realize you can actually just click in and type what you want to search for. Right, now when you've found stuff that you like, I'm just going to bring that up. Bookmarks. Okay, a couple of ways to make bookmarks. So we've got our star icon just in our address bar. So we can star something and it will take it to a bookmark. Okay, I'm just going to remove that. Okay, or Control D does the same thing. So that's the shortcut, Control D. Okay, and then we can change it, but we can also put it into different folders. So I'm going to put that into Rangaho. Done. So we'll have a look at bookmarks now, just for a little bit. So when I've got a new window open, okay, I can see my bookmarks bar. Okay. I've got folders here. Okay. So I can come to a new place and I can add a page or I can add a folder. And it's going to bring up my bookmarks manager. I can create folders. I can create folders within folders. Okay, so this one's got Pānui and Pūrākau. I'm just going to come to my bookmarks bar and I'm going to click on a new thing to follow your tour. Okay, and save. So I've got this folder called Tutorial Tour. Nothing's in it at the moment. But I'm just going to search Tutorial Tour. I'm not too sure what it's going to bring up. It's going to bring up our Facebook page. Great. Okay. And then I'm going to do a Control D. Now, if it's just going to put it on the bookmarks bar, that's fine. I'm just going to leave it on the bookmarks bar. Here it is here. But I can also pick up, so click, hold, and actually drag a bookmark. Oh, I created a new folder into a folder, or move it around. Now, when I'm actually on a site, it makes that disappear, but I can change that in my settings as well. So we'll have a look at that in a bit. Okay. Another thing I can do is that here I've got this Pānui and I've got Pūrākau. I don't want that, so I'm going to delete it. Okay. So I can edit directly from here, but I can also right click on a folder and go open all three. And it will open all of the links or all of the bookmarks that are in that folder. So that's right-clicking on a folder, a bookmarks folder, and then open all three. Or I can open all three in a new window. And then we've got a different window. Now, talking about different windows, we can grab a tab and we can actually drag it off. And you might have done that. If you haven't done it on purpose, you might have done that by accident. Okay? So we can grab tabs and we can drag them off so they end up in their own window. We can also drag and put it back. Let's get that one. But there's some other ways that we can help organize our tabs, especially if we've got lots of tabs open all the time. Tabs that we want to keep open always, and we don't want to close them just in case. Kia ora, Heidi. Thanks for joining in from Reo. Okay. Okay. We can pin a tab. Okay. That's going to bring it to the front and make it small. Okay. So we don't have the little X on it to easily close it by mistake. Remembering if you close it by mistake, you can, what was that shortcut? Control Shift and T and reopen the closed tab. Okay. So that's the pin tab, and you can pin multiple tabs. Okay. You can then unpin them if you want. Okay. But you can grab a bunch of tabs, and I'm just going to get these news tabs. Okay. I'm going to hold Control and click down all the tabs that I want to kind of group together. I can right click and I can add tabs to a new group. Okay. And maybe I might give that a different color. Okay. And so I can collapse or open up that group of tabs. Okay, that's really handy if you are doing some rangaho and you're going around your findings pages and then you go, okay, right, I've got a whole bunch of different sources. I'm just going to grab that and I'm going to come back to that. There's another thing that you can also do with tabs that you want to come back to, and that's actually adding them to a reading list. Okay, so I'm going to ungroup, and then the tabs that I want to keep later, I'm going to add this tab to a reading group. Okay, so now that page has been added to a reading list. I can click on it, and it's going to keep these in my browser. So, okay, I want to, okay, I might not want to bookmark it, okay, but I do want to read it later. So I'll add it to my reading list, okay, and then I can go through and I can tick when I've read it, okay, or I can delete it, but it just adds sites that you're interested in. And once again, this is great for rangaho if you're doing any kind of research or about any kaupapa, whether it be rangaho or whether it be just looking for tips on how to wallpaper or something like that. Adding them to a reading list and just getting that going, having that sitting there. Even if I close my browser, bring it back up, I've always got that reading list. So here we go, bookmarks and lists, reading list, show reading list, and it's still there. So a different way, when you don't really want to bookmark, it's just something that you want to have a look at, but it can be useful. While we've got this menu here, bookmarks and lists, okay, we can edit our bookmarks from here. I'm just trying to remember the way I always show bookmarks. Okay. And I think right here, yes. So by showing bookmarks bar, even when I've got websites open, okay, it's always going to show my bookmarks. Okay. And then another thing with the bookmarks is if you use your middle mouse button, it'll open that bookmark up in a new tab. I'm kind of racing through all of this, and I'm only on page 1 of all the pages that I've got to kind of show things. So let me know if I'm going too fast, Whānau. Kia ora, Kathy. Thanks for chickening in. Yeah. So lots and lots to do with tabs because we use them a lot. Yeah. Another thing that we do with tabs, I'm just going to go to just YouTube by itself. If you've ever had a tab open, that might be Spotify or other kaupapa, and you've got audio playing, okay, and then you want to quickly stop it, you don't have to close the whole tab or pause the video. Even if you're on another tab or you're doing something else, you might be on email, okay, you can find this little music icon on the tab, and we can click on it, or right click, mute site. Okay. And we're going to see that icon has got a cross through it now. So the video's still playing or the music's still playing, but you've just muted that tab. So it's not going to play any sound. And then once again, right click unmute.
So welcome.
And then it'll carry on. So that I've found that a really handy thing to be able to mute tabs. Okay, just making sure I've got everything. Yep, that's pretty much almost page one. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to come up to, here we go, spin off or is zooming. If you've ever kind of found yourself, and this happens to a lot of people, oh, my page is too big. Okay. You can zoom in and out of a page, okay, by holding your control button down and using your scroll wheel on your mouse and pushing it forward or back. Okay. You can see that up here we've got, it's at 250%. We can still use this or we can reset it and it'll come back to 100%. We can also reset, should be from here. Oh, I can't remember. There we go. There's the zoom. Okay. Zoom. So we can do the zoom from our, sorry that my new Flash icons are lighting up the settings bar, but yeah, we can use that. Kia ora, Georgina. Thanks for joining in. Right. Okay. So all of what I've been showing you so far is Chrome, is about Chrome, but it does work on a whole bunch of other web browsers, whether it be Firefox and Microsoft Edge. Now, we're going to get into Microsoft Edge, and the reason why I'm doing that is because it's installed on all Windows PCs by default, but there's actually some really powerful things that Microsoft Edge does that you might be really interested in. Things that it'll do, that Chrome can do if you use plugins and stuff, but it's in by default with Microsoft Edge. Okay. But the last kind of things that I want to show you is just how to change some of the settings in Chrome and how to make sure that you're synced in Chrome. So you can sign into Google Chrome using a Gmail web address or a Google account. Okay. So here I'm signed into Tutorial Tour. I'm just going to close all of these tabs, just using my middle mouse button. And so up the top right-hand side of the tab, I've got my icon twice. The top one is where I'm signed into the browser. Okay, so that saves all of my bookmarks. It saves my history. It'll save passwords if I want and any other settings that I've set. Okay, this one is me signed into my Google account for the purposes of the likes of Gmail or websites that I'm logged into, not the browser that I'm logged into. Okay. So you can add accounts here. Okay. That means you can flick between email accounts, which is fine, except when you have to sign into an account and it wants to use your Gmail or whatever to sign in, and it's not always obvious. The other thing too is that you might want different bookmarks and stuff depending on your login. So you might want a work login and a personal login, or you might have yours and your partners or your kids, and you don't want their bookmarks messing up your own. So instead of going to here and adding an account, we can come up to Chrome and we can add a Chrome profile. What this does is it's almost like a whole nother version of Chrome being installed. I'm going to sign in. Matariki Tiki Tour and password, which hopefully I can copy. Nope. I hold my whānau. Okay, and I'll go next. It's a Google account, so I don't actually have to put the @gmail.com, but it's not letting me. So Matariki Tiki Tour. I spelled it right. Yep. I will put that @gmail.com because I don't know why it's not doing it. Or I'll try it again. Let's go. Add a Chrome profile. Sign in. Matariki Tiki Tour. Oh, why isn't it letting me do it? Okay, don't worry, I'll try again. I'm going to add a Chrome profile, but I'm going to do it without an account. I can create an account later, but I'm going to call this account Mahi. And I'll give it a different color just so I can know when I'm browsing what it is. And you can see down the bottom, I've got my original Chrome, and then I've got this new version of Chrome. None of my bookmarks are there. None of my history's there. Okay. It wants to create this extension. I'm just going to enable that. Okay. None of my passwords, bookmarks. There's no bookmarks. There's no reading lists. It's a fresh thing. Now, that's really cool if you wanted to have that, but realize without signing in, it's not going to save your stuff. So I'll just actually sign in now and see if I can get this working. Tiki Tour. And it did work earlier. There we go. Put in the password. And yes, turn on sync. I'm in. Okay. I'm going to close both those browsers. And I'm just going to load up Chrome. And here it's going to tell me, oh, which one do you want to use? You want to use Tutorial Tour or Matariki? So let's go to Matariki. Okay. So if you've got multiple people using your computer and you want them to have their own web browser, that's a really good way to do it. You just installed Chrome once. If your computer's locked down, like it's a work laptop and they won't let you install other things, you can create as many Chrome profiles as you want. And here, if I want to get into my Tutorial Tour profile, I can just click and go Tutorial Tour, and it's going to open up that. And I've got both of them working both separately, okay, and they're not going to impact each other at all. So that's Google Chrome profiles. Once again, find your little icon up here, okay, add Google Chrome profile, or you can go manage profiles and see which profiles you've got. Now there's also a profile called guest mode. And I'm going to show you where to open a guest profile. Now a guest profile is a temporary version of Chrome. Okay, so once again, it's fresh. It doesn't have anything logged in. And what this is useful for is if someone wants to come and use your computer and quickly log into their email. Now, a lot of people might have used the option for an incognito window, incognito mode. Okay. Here, it doesn't save passwords and cookies, okay, but it does have access to the cookies and the shortcuts or the bookmarks that you already have. So it's not fully separate. Right? So incognito mode still has access to your stuff. Okay? So I don't recommend incognito mode if you're wanting someone else to use your laptop, because it can still leave crumbs and it can still it can still access your things. Thanks very much for that, Kathy. That really means a lot. And kia ora, Shah. Thanks for chickening in. Okay, so a guest profile creates a whole new, just temporary profile. And if I come in and sign into gmail.com or any other service, whether it be Facebook or my Insta account, as soon as I close this guest profile, as soon as I've, okay, anything that I've put in is wiped. Okay? Nothing is saved. So it's a great thing to use, and I use it all the time, especially if I'm testing stuff and I want to see what someone that isn't logged into anything would see. I use the guest profile. Okay. A couple of other things that we can do. At the moment, when I'm opening up Chrome, okay, it's coming up and just bringing me the Google homepage. If I want to change that, there's a couple of things I can do. I can click on the three dots and come to my settings. And I've got a whole bunch of stuff down here I can change. Usually I don't change much, okay? But there's this option on startup. Okay? I can continue where I left off. I can open a specific set of pages, and I can add new pages here and put in the web address, or open the new tab page, which is that default tab. Now, if I want a specific set of pages, I can actually come in. I'll Māori news, I'll get Instructables, I'll get my Gmail, and I'll get Facebook. Say I want these 4 pages coming up whenever I open my browser. Then in my settings, I come to open a specific set of pages and I go use current pages. Now it's not going to add the settings page, it knows that, but now it's got all those 4 pages as my startup pages. So if I close my browser, come back, open up afresh, those are the 4 pages that are going to open by default. Once again, that's in my settings, on startup. So that's most of the Chrome stuff. One thing that I did forget to show is if you are browsing, and I did show how you can, if you close a tab, you can reopen the closed tab, but you can also reopen a whole window of tabs. So I've closed that by Let's actually do this a little bit differently. Ia koranga. Spin-off, Pixabay, Adobe Spark, Tinkercad, Office 365, and Aotearoa. So I've got a whole bunch of tabs here. And if I close that by accident and go, oh, I wanted all that back. I can't remember what tabs I've got. I had. Okay. You can, where is it? Reopen closed window. Okay. And it's going to reopen all the tabs that you had open on that specific window. Okay. So that's a really cool tool if you're like me and often working too fast and close a bunch of tabs. So yeah, that's the Google Chrome specific stuff. Now on to Microsoft Edge, and these are some specific things that I want to show you. Okay. Shah, there might be some useful things for you to be aware of when you're helping some of our tauira as well. Okay. And why would you want to use Microsoft Edge? Well, actually, Microsoft Edge is based on Chrome. Actually, let's come to Chrome. And if I come to help and about Chrome, Chrome is made possible by the Chromium open source project. So the Chrome web browser and a whole bunch of other web browsers are based on this thing called Chromium. Okay, so it's an open source, which means all of the code that's set up, built it, is able to be used by anybody. Anyone can come and get the code and make their own web browser. So Chrome is built off it. Chromium is owned by Google. Right? So they open source the basic Chromium browser and then built Chrome on top of it. Chrome's got its own parts, but then a whole bunch of other web browsers use it. What are some? The Opera browsers are based on Chrome. There's, I can't even remember. Brave browser is based off Chrome, and so is Microsoft Edge. So anything you can do in Chrome, you can do in Microsoft Edge. Okay. But it's got some differences. Now, there's some things I don't like about Microsoft Edge. Basically, this home screen that starts up. Okay. But we can change this. And that's where this little gear icon up the top right-hand side and page settings goes. Okay. Quick links. I actually like these quick links. Okay. I think they're really useful. So I'll usually have 2 rows of quick links, but I'll turn off show promoted links. Okay. And then this content, you can choose to show it or not. So I can take it off if I don't want this stuff, especially since it's mostly about Trump. Or I can go partial view, so it slides down, or I can even go just the headings. It's still there, but I have to scroll down to look at it. And I can also show widgets, and I can get different kinds of widgets here. Okay. But I don't want to show widgets. Last little bit is I can have a background or not. I can edit and put my own background, or I can just leave it off. Okay. Okay. Or I can also show weather. Actually, let's just edit the background. Upload an image. Try that one. Okay, cool. So that's my own image in the background. So that's that gear icon. You can go and change all the settings there. Okay. But the specific things that I wanted to show are, what is it? A thing called collections. Okay. So collections is a little bit like the reading lists in Google Chrome. Okay. So if I've got, say this, it's a bookmark, but I can also add it to a collection. And I do that by clicking on my menu and going to collections. Okay. So while reading lists in Chrome just had one reading list, you can have multiple ones and you can make your own. Okay. So here's a reading list, and I can add a website to that reading list. Okay. Add current page. Okay. Cookbook. So recipes, video playlists, wish lists. Create a new one. So it's extended that kind of reading list and allowed you to customize it a lot more. So that's collections, just reading lists on steroids, kind of. Another cool thing that's already built into Microsoft Edge is being able to screenshot a page. Now, anyone can screenshot a page in anything, but here our page is quite long. And if I click on here and go screenshot, I can capture a particular area, capture the screen area, or I can screenshot, capture the full page. Okay, so it's now captured the whole page for me, which I can't do usually just using the screenshot tool. And then I can save it, I can copy it, I can share it, I can draw on it. Okay. I'll save that, and it's opened, and it's saved that into my pictures folder. So the screenshot tool is really, really useful. If you're having to, say, get a picture of your online portfolio or something like that, if you're in Hikoro Akonga, okay, you can use that screenshot tool, which is really useful. Another thing that's really useful, I'll close that now, and this is where I think one of the really cool things about Edge is called reading mode. Now, it will only work on certain websites. So here I've got, and this is really useful for websites with a lot of ads in that. Okay. I've got this article here. Up in our address bar, we've got these 3 dots at the ends with more action. And so an immersive reader will cut out all the other stuff and just show me the article. Okay. I've got text preferences, reading preferences, okay. But I've also got read aloud. So let's click on that.
NGTI Hein tackles diabetes crisis with Wetapa WHO with Macron approach. NGTI Hein drawing on Tauranga.
So not great in Te Reo Māori.
Alternative approaches to tackle.
I'll just pause that. I can change my my voice and also the speed in which it's reading. Okay. So this is a New Zealand kind of voice, but it doesn't pronounce Māori properly. I don't think there's a Māori. I think it's all, yeah, no Māori. Okay. So we have to wait for Microsoft to work on that to get better pronunciation with the New Zealand voice. Yep.
Long-standing issue, as a Northern Health leader warns that conventional health practices continue to fail Māori. NGTI Hein.
Let's slow that down a bit.
Trust CEO Tamati Shepherd Whippiety says of the 4,200 patients enrolled at the Trust's Kawakawa Clinic.
Okay. So if you're like me, like my sister that has reading difficulties, is dyslexic, okay, you can get Microsoft Edge, and then once again it's built right in to read it for you. So once again, that's in the, I'm just going to come out of reading mode. That's in immersive reader. Well, you don't have to be an immersive reader. You can just go read aloud.
NGTI Hein tackles diabetes crisis.
Okay. And the cool thing is it knows where the actual article is. It's not going to read every single word on the page, and definitely not going to read this stuff. So read aloud and immersive reader. Now, it doesn't work on every website. So if we go to stuff.co.nz, okay, and we try to go to an article, no thank you stuff, I don't see those dots, I just see the read aloud, okay?
Labour outgrows national.
So it's still reading aloud, but I don't get that immersive reader. The really cool thing too is that this read aloud also works in PDFs. So I'm going to come into my downloads folder. I've got this PDF called Aromatawai. Okay. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to open with and choose Microsoft Edge. It's opened up in Microsoft Edge. I can make it bigger, but I can also read aloud. So we've got the read aloud icon directly up in this bar.
The Waitangi National Trust's Peter Taiping is stepping.
So once again, aroha mai for the terrible pronunciation. Okay. But it's a great tool when you want to listen to the thing, even if you're looking at something else and you just want that on in the background. Okay. So Microsoft Edge as a web browser will read articles, will read websites for you. Now, some of the other things that it will do with PDFs, it'll allow you to draw and mark up a PDF. You'll save that and it'll actually save that to the PDF. We can add our own text. We can delete, use the rubber, delete stuff we've marked up. Can't delete the text. Yep. We can translate, so we can translate directly in a PDF. Okay. And we can ask Copilot. Don't really want to do that. And here's my table of contents. So as a PDF reader, Microsoft Edge is pretty good as well. Now, I don't use it like that. I don't use it for PDFs, but if I wanted to have it read something to me, maybe I'm cleaning up my desk and I just want to have a article or a journal article being read while I'm doing something physical and I am able to listen and do something at the same time, then definitely I'd use it. For me, for my personal use or for my use, I use Microsoft Edge for my work account, my Wānanga account, and I use Google Chrome for all my personal profiles. And on my computer, I've got like 8 different profiles. I can do profiles in Microsoft Edge. Okay. It's coming here and set up a new profile or other profiles. And I've also got the option to browse as guest. Okay. Microsoft obviously will sync all of your settings, all of your bookmarks and other save stuff to a Microsoft account, and Google Chrome will obviously save it to a Gmail account. You can't use your Microsoft account to sign into a Google Chrome thing. But even though here I'm signed in as Tutorial Tour at Gmail, I'm not actually signed into my Gmail account. I've got a Microsoft account using the tutorialtour@gmail.com address. So that's a lot. I was trying to get done by about 45 minutes, so I'm not too bad, but I think I've rushed things a bit. Hopefully that was useful, whānau. Yeah, that was a huge amount. I'm going to do all the same things again tomorrow, but only in half an hour, so poor people that are going to have to watch that. Hopefully that was useful. Now, next week, we are going to start a bit early. We're going to start at 7:30, and it's going to be a special Matariki event. I've said it before, but we are going to fly to all 9 stars of Matariki, and then we are going to go across to Puanga as well in a game called Elite Dangerous, which does a one-to-one creation of the Milky Way galaxy. Really, really cool stuff. Blows my mind every time I'm doing it, but we actually go and see what those stars look like if we were up close, what the possible planets and stuff that might be in those stars, so we can actually go to Matariki, come to a planet and actually see Matariki as a sunrise. So I hope you join us for that. It's be a bit longer. It might even get up to about 2 hours, but we'll see how we go. We'll try and do it as quickly as possible, but still have a talk about those stars of Matariki and what they mean in Māoridom, and how we recognise or appreciate those stars and their meanings and their tohu that they give us. and yeah, definitely for the first time, gonna head across to Puanga to celebrate and whakanuia Puanga, which is yeah, which is used by a lot of our iwi, like our Ngāti Atiawa, and Taranaki and other ones that don't actually get to see Matariki like some of our East Coast whānau. So please join us next week, 7:30, be probably about 7:30 to 9. Hope you have an awesome week. Don't go fishing this weekend. It's all bad fishing according to the Maramataka. Stay at home. It's probably going to be raining, and watch some movies on Netflix or Disney or something else. But have an awesome time with whānau, and we will see you again next week. Thanks all who watched, and yeah, have a watch again, Sha. Kaki te. Outro radio. I'm gonna go play some